It's a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It's the Bennettarium. It's been a while. We skipped last week, but now it's the Bennettarium. It's the Bennettarium.
Bennettarium.
And we're starting now. Kind of like a blending of like a few of the alternate versions.
We're just
Nice.
throwing it together. Hello, welcome to the Bennettarium episode 22. I am Isabella Bunny Bennett, and I play Rabbit in Steam Powered Giraffe.
My name is Chelsea Penyak. I am a Walter worker with Steam Powered Giraffe.
My name's David Michael Benton. I play the spine in Steam Powered Giraffe.
How are you all doing today?
Are we asking the audience? Oh wait, we don't talk to the audience.
They're not there. They're not here. They're not listening.
Right.
Pretty tired.
Yeah,
I've been pretty
tired.
exhausted. I don't know why. I think it's just a lot of work, a lot of
Ups and downs.
stress.
I had a
yeah.
lot of energy yesterday, but then I hiked this morning, and I haven't done that in a while, so now I'm just ready for bed.
Yeah, similar. I hiked morning. Weekend I had energy. I did a live stream on Saturday. I don't know if any of you caught that.
I saw a little bit of it. It looked really fun. Very unique.
I got about 480 people
It's like,
at the
that's
max.
such a good idea. It was a fun little experiment. How'd it go?
We made a song. Basically, the idea was like, I just sit there and we make a song with. Basically, I throw like straw poll links at the audience, like, what kind of song are we making? And since I started the stream eating a sandwich, everyone was
Of course.
make a song about a sandwich. And I'm like, okay, but if it's gonna be funny, then so basically the song, I was streamed for good more than 3 hours.
I checked in a couple of times while
And
I was playing video games.
I didn't finish it, but we wrote the song and I laid down the chords and I played through a little bit with the guitar. And basically it's a song. It's called Losing Reuben, and it's about.
Oh, okay, I've seen like some tags come my way. I was wondering what the heck is Ruben
That's
about?
pretty
So it's
good.
about
That's clever.
it's about a miner and he's in a mine and he drops a sandwich into a chasm and it's gone. But the song is done as if no one
You
knows.
don't know it's a
it's
sandwich. He's
except
talking
for
about his friend
Oh,
Ruben, who got
yeah.
lost in the mines.
So this is like
So
what is that song about the mule in the mine?
Oh,
not
The
in
donkey in the mine?
No, that was isn't that?
Timothy.
It's called Timothy.
Timothy.
I don't know if it was in a mine. Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my
it was.
God,
yeah.
you're so juicy.
Something like that. I actually said that on the
Cannibalism.
stream. I was like, this sounds just like this. But anyways, that was some of their ideas. Like, oh, and he got turned magically into a sandwich, and then I was like, yeah, but
they were like
The
getting
minute-
really elaborate with it.
the minute you mention a sandwich, then it's like,
It's not funny anymore.
well, I just said I never said that I would try to take everyone's ideas. I just kind of like, okay, yeah, let's do that. But
It would be interesting to see what happens if you did take every suggestion that was
that's
thrown
impossible.
oh my
at you. You would
god.
overwrite the last suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make like an
Well,
epic
I
song.
put a slow mode on it, 30 seconds for people to chat, and it still went pretty fast. Like, so then I did the straw poll, and that made it a little like, okay, what kind of should we do, major or minor chords? Should the chorus be the same chords as the verse? Stuff like that. But it's kind of boring to watch. I don't know who would want to watch that, but
I mean, to be
I think
fair,
it's-
I only checked in like for a couple minutes each time. I was like, okay.
I think
about the-
most people did that.
The
I mean,
audience engaging with you is probably what it's all about.
Yeah.
It was fun watching you make the song, but you know the comments aren't very
Well,
entertaining
I
because
hated
it's
it.
everyone throwing out their ideas, like make it about this, make it about
And
that.
YouTube like was crapping out for a bunch of streamers, so it had some blank spots, so I had to edit it and re-upload it. But I hid it under the extra section in Steam Powered Giraffe just in case someone really wants to watch that.
like a two. Well, how long did you do?
It was about 3 hours, but after I cut
wow.
out the because there were parts where I was literally waiting for the stream to start again,
Yeah.
so it was about 3 hours. But I'll do that in the future again. I just had energy. I was like, I can either sit and play Mass Effect all day, or
It's fun to do something more creative.
I worked a
sometimes.
little bit on some other songs, not before that, and then I was like, yeah, let's see if it's possible. Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, what was it? I just laughed because when you first started and I went to the link, you were eating your sandwich and like you immediately got a $5 tip just for eating a sandwich or something from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's
like,
good. I mean, that's
Make
probably
money off of anything.
you could
these
probably
days,
make
I
like
guess.
10 sandwiches off of $5.
Yeah.
You obviously weren't on the stream because that's the exact same comment I said. I was doing the math of how many sandwiches I could make.
I didn't watch the stream, but I think
our brains
great
kinda-
minds think
yeah.
alike.
And then also I said, well, it's actually divided amongst the company, and if we did see pay from this $5, I would get like 70 cents. And anyways,
all I did was I just kind of hung out with the boyfriend, and we played all these video games we've been putting off. So we played some Destiny. We did, gosh, what else did we do? We did Binding of Isaac and Shovel Knight and a bunch of others. It was
I
fun.
recognize both of those names. I think I watched you play Binding of Isaac for like a minute once, and I watched you
played
play.
it for a minute and then uninstalled it.
Yeah. And wait, where were we? You were playing Shovel Knight, somewhere like on a trip.
Yeah, I think I have it on my PS4, but also on Switch.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight's fun, but you get to those moments where, 30th time through, and you're just failing and failing and failing.
Yeah,
and it just gets so frustrating.
You get better the more you play, but it is one of those games that's like, this is just old school platformer, and it's like basically you have to learn the level.
Isaac's kind of similar, except it gets better the more you play because you start unlocking different power-ups.
Yeah.
So playing a minute doesn't really give you a lot of... Because it's all randomly generated, so it's a lot of luck to see how many power-ups you can get. Because some of them, there's like a pencil in your eye that'll give you like a shotgun ability, where you'll cry tears, but then every once in a while there'll be a splatter of blood that can take out a bunch of enemies. And it's like, if you have that, you can get pretty far.
Oh.
So, I don't know, it's just... And, the co-op mode is kind of interesting, because you have like a ghost fetus that follows you around. And there's like hundreds of different looks for him that you just randomly... Like one time he spawned and he was Luigi, or... Another time it was a Koopa. Another time he had like a rainbow afro. Another time he was a dog. So that's kind of what I did this weekend, is
Just
nothing.
play. Yeah, Friday was the first like day off I had in forever, and I mean, I'm always kind of answering emails and stuff, working for SPG in my off time. So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to like gauge what your true days off are. But yeah, Friday was like the first time I didn't have any plans or anything to do. And I just like laid in bed and played video games all day. And I can only do that once every like week or so. But it was a nice change of pace. And I'm back into No Man's Sky after taking a few months off. And I know most people don't care and make fun of it, but I'm having a lot of fun right now ever since they did the update, the Pathfinder update.
Yeah, they've had 2 major updates that added a bunch to the
They
game.
added a lot more to it. I don't know. I mean, I know that it's still repetitive and boring for a lot of people, but it's pretty much everything I've wanted my entire life, as like a sandbox, just flying around the universe game, taking pretty pictures of planets and skylines and everything. And I'm working on my base right now, and I'm working towards the the Exo Bay, the little Land Rover that you can take out on planets. That's what I'm working on right now.
I just booted it up for a second. I realized SLI support was botched in
Oh.
the first update, and I never waited around for the next one. So every time they have a big update, I check and like, did they break anything? Oh, no.
Well, they added photo mode, and it just added that.
No, that's pretty cool.
You were like, fly next to that asteroid and take a picture, because I don't know, from the cockpit, first person view, I just get so used to. My brain thinks that the asteroids are like the size of a potato, and then like I go into photo mode and I like zoom out and I can see my ship next to this huge asteroid,
Yeah, it's hard.
It doesn't even fit in the screen, and it
can't have depth in those first-person games.
Yeah, it would be an amazing game in VR, and it gave me another level of appreciation for the game because the scope and the scale is so amazing.
It would do really well in VR. It's not
Yeah.
like so action oriented that they couldn't do it.
It's a nice chill game. I like it because it's chill.
I haven't picked it up in a while, but definitely those new updates sound intriguing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of busy work,
It is.
unfortunately.
It's fetching,
Yeah.
mining ingredients.
But it does
and-
give the game something to do, and you're like, well, I got to go find these ingredients. Let me go travel to 10 more planets and see if I find them.
Yeah, and I know that's not for everyone, but like pretty much all you do is, gather resources to stay alive, and like I find that the busy work is, just something to do to get you, getting from point A to point B, is like a vessel for seeing the, the
Yeah.
visuals and everything, because it's like, oh, I gotta go get, I'll be like walking around searching for plutonium to charge my life support or whatever, and but walking around looking for plutonium makes like I'll like see this amazing skyline and take a picture.
The vanilla game didn't really like, other than upgrading your ship and getting better weapons and stuff. But then you're like, wait, why do I need better weapons? What am I gonna do with those? Like, there wasn't much of a point to the game after a while. You're like, why am I playing? Because there's no end goal other than flying to another system.
My big weakness is every time I run into pirates, because I don't bother with the combat. Like, I'm in it for the exploration, so I never upgrade my like photon cannons and my like combat stuff. So every time I run into pirates, I die. I don't know. You can only focus on so much in that game.
I know they updated the weapons a little bit.
Yeah.
They have like shotgun weapons for the ship now, and
yeah.
It's not in a video.
Well, and before all the updates, you were getting so many repeat blueprints. Like, every time you found a crash site or something, it would say like, oh, you already have this blueprint. Here's another one. But now I almost never run into repeat blueprints because they've added so many collectibles, like nanites, like the little nanite clusters you can trade for new technology and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. They've added a lot more variety. It doesn't feel as repetitive. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
We're a little lax on energy. There's a game that a sequel came out that I never say the name right. Is it Todukin?
I don't know.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's
the demon hunting one.
It's the one made by Woo Force.
I just picked it up and I'm installing it, so I'll probably play it tonight. I really enjoyed the first one, but it's basically like, it's like Monster Hunter but easier.
Yeah, and this one they have more of a story than.
And it's an open world.
It's still only 30 frames a second, so I don't know.
I was gonna get it on PC, but I heard it was just a bad port.
Yeah,
it's getting great
one
reviews though, so I'm like, it seems like maybe it's more casual friendly this time.
I played the demo. They have a demo before you go and buy it.
I already bought it.
Yeah.
Is it good? Please say it's good.
I couldn't do it. It's more of the same. Like,
no,
the gun controls are really meh.
Oh yeah, they added gun on the first one. And it was really weird. I couldn't understand it.
It controls similar to Monster Hunter in that sense, where it's like a ridiculous, like it's not.
You have to memorize like a series of key commands to like load your gun. And
it's not that complicated, but it's complicated enough that it's like, you can't move and aim your gun. It's just like a weird. I mean, it makes sense to, otherwise it'd be overpowered, I suppose. But I don't know. I wasn't impressed with the demo. It looked more like the first game, but now they've added a story, which is cool, but not for me. Not at 30 frames a second.
I got a Nintendo Switch. I was on like in stock and I kept missing it. The other morning I got it. It arrived the same day I ordered it. But I didn't want to get Zelda because I'm not a big Zelda fan. And
yeah, I'm not either. I mean, I've played it, but I'm saving it for like a long plane ride or something.
There's pretty much nothing on the Nintendo system.
That's what I kind of discovered. I was like, oh, I'll get like Bomberman. Bomberman was abysmal. It was abysmal of a game. I beat the campaign. It's horrible. The multiplayer is awful.
I tried to warn you.
I mean, people were saying it wasn't worth it. I was like, but if it's at least like fun. But it's not even like, I remember playing Bomberman with you on Sega.
Well, we played Bomberman. What was it? The one that has the kangaroos, which is like, that's like Generations, or I don't remember which one that one was.
I don't even know.
But that was like a weird.
We had a lot of fun with it, like just killing each other in battle mode. Yeah, it was disappointing. I'm gonna definitely leave a bad review because I tried to eat the cartridge though. It's pretty bitter.
Oh, so you bought cartridges? You're not doing.
Well,
downloads.
I don't want to run out of space.
I mean, they take micro SD cards.
And plus, right now
you have your new 3DS. Do you have a new 3DS?
I do, but
take it out of there. Use that one.
Yeah, I might do that. The Amazon actually sells the physical copies for cheaper, which is like, okay, so if I can get like $5 off, so why not? It's just a tiny cartridge that I have to.
But are you? Because you're paying for Prime too.
Well, whatever.
They're making money off you somehow. Because the idea is that whatever.
Yeah, but I didn't have any games. I mean, I played they had like an hour alpha for Splatoon 2 that I played.
Doesn't that come out next week? Isn't
it comes out like a long time from now.
Wait, doesn't the alpha next week, or did I miss this week's probably?
This week is like,
what?
And it's called Splatoon. It's a bunch of hybrid squid kids.
I played the one.
Oh yeah, we played that one.
The first one, yeah.
But
like
I thought Testfire was this week, but it was last week.
It was Sunday. It was Sunday from like. From 8 to 9, I think, or 7 to 8. It was only for an hour, but I caught the tail end and was like, "Oh yeah, I see why people like this game." Like I didn't know that they're basically squid people, which is kind of cool. They turn into squids.
I don't
and they
like
can-
the outfits. None of the outfits were like, even on the Wii U, I was like,
It looks like a Nickelodeon kids show.
Yeah,
I-
it's like there's just
Yeah.
shooting gack at
I'm
each
never
other.
never gonna have a squid kid that looks like what I would look like as a squid kid.
They remind me a little bit of like gorillas, and I mean, I
Yeah.
kind of like it because there's no customization in the. You can't choose anything. It's
But
just
even then,
random.
it's like,
and,
what color multicolored sneakers do you want? What logo T-shirt do you want? I'm like, none of this speaks to me.
Yeah, but for kids, I mean, it's definitely like one of the new. I mean, it did so
The
well.
game- no, yeah, the
they're
gameplay
putting it
is
into
pretty-
Mario Kart 8.
The gameplay is pretty fun. I mean, the idea of painting stuff.
It's. I mean, I only played for like maybe like 1 or 2 sessions, and I was like, oh, this is intriguing, but
Was it? I hear it's 60 frames a second. Is that true?
it ran pretty smooth. Like I
Yes or no?
don't know at the time. It looked very smooth.
Okay.
I remember saying like, oh, this game's like really well optimized for the system. I hear arms. I mean, arms might be good, but if it's just like
I don't want to punch in real life.
Arms?
It's going to be one of their. They're trying to make like these
Wii
iconic
U
characters
games, right?
and
Oh.
kind of like Splatoon, but it's like
It looks like
different
a Wii
battlers
game.
with like spring arms, or one's like a mummy. So it kind of uses the Switch controllers. I don't know if it's just going to be like 1-2 switch and you're just like fighting your friend, and that's the
Do
only
you
thing.
have that game? Did you spend $50
No,
on one
no
Switch?
way.
What?
So I bought Binding of Isaac and Shovel Knight, and those were overpriced on the system, but at least I have something to play.
What was that one we played for a couple minutes with the like 2D characters that like
Snipper clips or whatever.
Yeah.
clip each
That one's
other
pretty good.
and
That one's not
create
bad.
different shapes?
Do you have that one?
No, I played the demo.
I only own Zelda and the Wipeout clone.
Is the Wipeout good? I was looking at it, but I was like, with Mario Kart's coming out soon, why?
Yeah, it kind of it's there's no weapons in it. It has this weird. It's not. I know it's a Wipeout clone, but at the same time, it's like an independent series that's been around for a while. So it's not completely a Wipeout clone, I guess, but it's pretty much Wipeout.
You know what's great about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? You know, when Mario Kart 8 came out, my biggest grievance was that there was no battle mode.
You're right.
They're bringing it back for Deluxe, so battle mode was like the best. We spent hours there as kids. Like that was just
Super. Yeah, I
Where
think
it's
probably the
at.
Super Nintendo
So,
won the most.
Is battle mode like a one-on-one match
if
in
it's
Mario Kart?
It could be multiple people. You're surrounded by balloons, and the
Okay.
objective is like to pick up power ups. It's not a race. You just kind of
Yeah, because Camille and I grew up with Crash Team Racing.
And they have the same. They
Yeah,
have
it's
battle
The
pretty
mode.
Crash
similar.
Bandicoot, Mario Kart, and their battle mode, we would always like one-on-one, just like demolish each other
That's
all
so
night
fun.
in a big arena. It's not a race. I was
Yeah,
figured it
it's
was the
basically-
same
nice.
thing.
I mean, yeah, the Crash Bandicoot game's like 1-to-1 ratio. Like,
Yeah,
It's
we didn't
exactly
have
the
we
same.
didn't have a Nintendo growing up past the old NES. Like we always had PlayStation, so we didn't play Mario Kart. I like have no nostalgia for Mario Kart. I'm all about Crash Team Racing. I'm like, when are they gonna remaster that
he's-
and bring it to PS4?
I know didn't they recently?
I
Are they
signed the
still
petition to get,
Are they
get it
still-
remastered.
Are they still working on the remaster of the
Uh,
original game?
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play any of the other Crash
They
Bandicoot
have
games, though.
some images or video from it
I was
now.
just into the go-kart one.
So maybe they'll do that.
But I don't care about the platform game. I don't care
Yeah.
about Crash Bandicoot. I had Crash Team Racing was fun though.
That was the best one.
That campaign was amazing for a kart racing game.
When we were kids, we would rent that every weekend from Blockbuster, and that's all we played all weekend until we saved up enough to buy it, and then
It
that's
was
all we
fun.
played for years and years.
I remember a similar game was, and this one, I mean, probably people looked at it and scoffed, but I think Dave and I had fun with it. It was called Super Bombad Racing, and it was based on
Oh,
episode
yeah.
1.
Everyone loved
Oh,
that
yeah.
game.
They were like giant-headed
remember
chibi.
that
It was
one.
basically Twisted Metal, but with Star Wars. People.
I didn't own it, but I remember that one.
It was good.
It was kind of similar, the battle mode. It's pretty great.
Super. Wait, no.
Super
I'm thinking of a
Bombad.
different one. I'm thinking of the Star Wars Destruction, whatever derby thingy majig it was. Remember what I'm talking? I'm just thinking the Bombad Racing was for Nintendo 64, right? Maybe it wasn't.
No, it was for PlayStation.
That
It
was,
might have been
that was
for,
the cartoony one, right?
yeah, where they have giant heads.
But
and
you
tiny
remember when it
little
was the one that
carts.
was Twisted Metal, like? Remember? And you were like in the old.
Oh my gosh! I almost forgot about that
I
game.
can't remember what it's called.
That was actually
That's
pretty
what I
fun.
think you're talking about. But then I'm like Super Bombad Racing. That's not.
That was kind of cool too. I remember that.
I can't remember what that was called, but it was like one of the one of the guys had like an old well, I guess
An
not
AT
an old
Walker.
AT Walker.
Wasn't someone just riding a Rancor?
Yeah,
something?
someone was writing one of the episode 1 tanks, and it took place like probably after episode 3
Yeah.
or something. So
Yeah.
I
Those games are
like
cool.
that.
There was an
Yeah.
old game that me and Camille would rent, and I don't remember the name of it, and I have vague memories of it, but maybe it sounds familiar to you too. I think it was a Lost World tie-in game, Jurassic Park Lost World, and I just remember we never got very far because it was probably before we learned how to like save our progress or something, but it was like a side scroller, but it wasn't completely 2D. It was like a 3D side scroller kind of, and you played as one of the little compies.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And you were
that.
like trying to, oh gosh, I hardly
on
remember
PlayStation,
anything about it. But it was a Jurassic Park game, and you could play as a dinosaur, and it was kind of like a side scroller where you like jumped and stuff.
I don't think we got very far in that.
I can't remember the name of
I
it.
do remember it,
I would be curious to like find it and like
but I don't think we ever got past the comps like
see if I could play it anywhere again.
We played the PlayStation one, which was like it was like top down, kind of like Bomberman. And you're like kind of super deformed Jeff Goldblum and another guy, and you could get
Are
into
you sure that wasn't
vehicles.
Sega Genesis you're thinking about?
Pretty sure it was like early
The
PlayStation.
2D one?
Yeah, but it was like from top down. You like run around, and you can get into cars, and the person who rides shotgun can like shoot a turret.
Is that the one where you have to like have the? I'm thinking of the Sega Genesis one where
That one's
the Lost World game. That was isometric basically.
They made two. I know that. That's just kind of confusing.
This one, and it wasn't 3D. It was all 2D.
Yeah, maybe yeah, maybe.
That was the one I played that like on an emulator, like I don't know, maybe 10 years or more ago, and beat it. And that was you had to like wait for a Stegosaurus to get walk into like traps and stuff or a cage.
Something like that.
So many nostalgic dinosaur games. Where's all the dinosaur games currently?
Right.
Just Ark is and then and it's
And
mo-
that
Controversy
that one,
around
like
that.
GoFundMe one.
what's the controversy?
They released download content before the game was
Yeah.
released.
And it's I don't really care about that. I just want them to make it not so janky.
There's that
is
one
really janky.
that has like a Kickstarter or something that's basically just like a dinosaur simulator where
Oh, yeah.
you just
Oh yeah.
you just run around as like a raptor or a few other species and try and survive, and there's no like goal.
That's
And
cool.
it feels like No Man's Sky for the dinosaur nerd kid in me. Like, oh my god, I can't wait
That would be
till
cool.
I just have this like dinosaur simulator.
I
where
just
can-
want
but it's like a Kickstarter, and it's probably never gonna.
one
come
of
out.
these AAA studios has to get into one of those survival games. Can't you just imagine like if
Oh, Saurian. That was
if
the
one of
name
these
it.
big
Sorry,
companies
yeah.
made one of these one of these open world survival type games, like
Yeah.
I mean, because the polish would be good, and that's the problem with most of these. Is I feel like, yeah, the game it works, but
They're imitating Ark too. They're incomplete games. Like Age of Conan was like so promising, and you just get into it like it's suffering from all the things that Ark suffers from.
So
I-
is it that's another independent studio, right?
Oh, it's called Conan Exile. Sorry, not Age of Conan. It's no, that's Funcom. It's a smaller studio, but they still have made like decent sized.
I guess we just have to wait for EA or someone.
I just
to
want a realistic,
Get a
anatomically
publisher.
correct dinosaur
Oh.
that I can run around as, so I could live my childhood dreams of being a dinosaur.
There's a game I play. I think it was either Primal Carnage or one of those games like that. My friend Locke and I. This is a couple years ago, but we went into a multiplayer session, and it said dinosaur roleplay.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Was that Primal Carnage?
Yeah, it's one of those first-person, like it's a deathmatch game, but they
You can be
actually have a-
dinosaurs or humans.
Yeah, they have like a roleplay mode. Man.
Oh, I saw a video of that one.
In this one,
I have it on
you're
PlayStation 4, I think, actually.
in this
Maybe
one
that's where
you're
I saw it.
in this world. You're
Primal
just,
Extinction, Primal what is
something like
it? I
Yeah.
don't
that.
remember what the game's called.
But you're basically this room was you had to be a dinosaur. And They
Yeah.
had like a rule set. So we came in and we literally saw like. I mean, we were expecting to see it, but yes, they were like having relations as dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
So we kind of like left that area and we went over, and there was like I think someone was an herbivore. Someone had killed something as a Spinosaurus, and we were just like velociraptors.
I'm
and he was like
confused.
role playing that he was
Do
like,
they-
"Don't eat my meat. It's my
Oh,
kill."
are these like
That was pretty
human
cool.
models you're talking about, or are they?
No, they were
actual
all
dinosaurs?
dinosaurs.
Okay.
Because you can play as the dinosaurs. in there. It was just a
'Cause when
room
you say
where
role play as dinosaurs, I'm imagining these people like pretending to be dinosaurs.
no, it's like they're using the game engine, but you can't be a human. You have to be a
Okay.
dinosaur in this room, and you can use chat to like emote what you're doing.
Okay.
Like they're not talking, but it was just amusing. It was like Dinosaur Simulator. Someone made it already.
They made a deathmatch game, and then they were like, oh, we can just turn off the deathmatch and then let people do what they want. No, I have that. I was on I saw they have that game on PlayStation 4, I think.
It's all right. It's
And
not
you can
very
spend like
intense.
$50 and get all these American flag skins for your dinosaurs or something.
You know one game I liked? It's really outdated now, but Dino D-Day. It was really
Oh yeah, I remember
it
that.
was really clunky, but the idea behind it was that the Nazis had bred dinosaurs, and it's like a deathmatch type game.
Yeah.
The Nazis can spawn like velociraptors, Dilophosaurus as their soldier units, and I think the Allies have like a Protoceratops that has like a machine gun strapped to its back.
Oh my god.
It was such a cool idea.
Yeah.
It was just it's really aged.
Yeah, there's a lot of
well.
those games that just are basically this is a deathmatch and that's the game.
Yeah.
And like, I guess it's fun, but I feel the same way about like even a well polished game like Overwatch. I'm like, I want more. I want more than just a competitive shooter.
Overwatch did a co-op mode, but it was only for Halloween, but it was really fun.
It's weird. Like, I don't know. See, that would make me play a game like that.
It would be
Because I can only
cool.
do competitive for so long, and then it's just like, well, I did all 12 maps. You probably don't have 12 maps, and now I'm done.
Yeah, those kind of games don't even interest me at all. I'm not really big on like multiplayer in general.
Yeah, I like experiencing maybe like a co-op campaign or something. That's more my speed.
Maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely like one of the earliest co-op games I remember was like Toe Jam and Earl. I remember playing it with you and like because it was so amazing at the time that when you walked away, the screen split,
And you could go your own way, a separate way.
and then if you came back to each other, you would like high five each other, and it was
That's how the new one is. I backed the Kickstarter for that one and the reboot. Or I don't know what it is, but yeah, it looks like the Sega Genesis version. I don't know because then there was that Super Nintendo version, right? Or was it no? The Toe Jam 2 was like a platformer, right?
I can't remember.
One of them was a platformer, and one of them was like an isometric top-down kind of thing.
I remember we beat the game though.
We did.
We did. Yeah, you go back to your home planet and you get to meet all the aliens. What also doesn't make sense is like, why is Earth just a bunch of floating platforms in space? Like what? What?
I'm sure maybe it makes sense.
It's
now.
a pretty cool game though. But yeah, multiplayer is. I think it's everything's funner if you just have friends to play with. You can almost play any game that has multiplayer, and it's 10 times more fun with friends.
Jurassic Park Rampage edition. Someone was saying might be the one we were talking about with the compy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I don't. There was
That
probably
sounds
other dinosaurs,
familiar.
but we never.
Yeah,
got
yeah. That sounds vaguely familiar. That might be it. Cool. Thanks.
There was that PlayStation Dino battling game.
Warpath.
Warpath.
Yeah.
That was another one that we rented every weekend, and we finally bought.
There's
We were
only
just
one
like,
good map,
"Ah!"
and that was the San Diego map that just was a 76
Yeah.
gas station.
And you could like knock over the big ball and
Yeah.
stuff.
I was excited because it was like the first Giganotosaurus that I've seen in 3D.
The animations were pretty awesome in that game.
They were. They
For
had, like,
being
kill
such an
moves.
old game, like the dinosaurs looked really good.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember.
So who greenlit that game? It just seems like a game that no one would ever let me
And
be
you could
made.
you could turn off the blood and gore, and I remember like, as kids, like we're gonna turn it on, and it was like, ew. So it was like the first like really gory game we played, which is really weird to think, but it was a dinosaur fighting game.
It reminded me of this other game. Oh my gosh, is it called Primal Carnage?
You said that multiple times. You've already even used that game.
What is that? You
You
know
already
what?
used that name for
What is
every
the
game is
game? What?
Primal
You know which one I'm
Carnage.
talking about, right?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's not Primal Carnage. That's the new one.
The
but
Mortal Kombat with dinosaurs?
Yes. Oh my god. But it wasn't like
Primal Rage.
Primal Rage. But they weren't really dinosaurs. They were gods. There was like a monkey and then a white monkey and a T-Rex, and then there was this. My favorite one was this kind of cobra dinosaur, and she was like a sorceress. I don't know. She had poison. That was really cool. They were like
Yep.
3D models that they.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pseudo 3D. It wasn't really 3D.
It was Mortal Kombat with dinosaurs.
It was really cool.
And a monkey.
And a monkey. They weren't really dinosaurs.
And I just remember, like, you'd have little followers, like, and you were giant, like, the humans were, like, this small. And so you would, like, eat them.
It was really cool.
You eat the other person's followers, and it gives you more power for, I don't remember.
It was controversial at the time. I remember not only because the monkey, one of its attacks was like shitting into its hand and throwing it at you, but it was very violent too, just like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Because Mortal Kombat, like, on the Sega Genesis, the first one, you had to enter the blood code, and then it would be like, and then some of those secret finishing moves were, ripping the head off. Like now, Mortal Kombat from the get-go is just.
Oh, I watched you play the new one, and I couldn't stomach it. After a few kill moves, I was like, I can't watch this anymore.
I was just playing the campaign,
disgusting.
but to be fair, all the 3D ones, all the people look wonky.
I think I have the same. It's something about the sound. Because I have the same problem with
Sniper Elite.
Sniper Elite, and it might not be related, but it has something to do. I think it might have something to do with I have some sort of, how do you say? I don't know how to pronounce it. Misophonia or misophonia. It's that thing where
Mesophiliomia.
very specific noises can send you into a rage and
has been something
it gives me extreme anxiety, and I realized I have the same problem with the sniper game. I can't stand that squelching noise.
Yeah, I guess for me it's like
and the bones cracking. I know it's not real.
I don't like gore. Like I couldn't watch the Saw movies. Like after a while they're just so I can't do this. Or like a Hostel.
It's like,
but for a video game, it's cartoony enough for me.
Well, it's cartoony and over the top, and I know that. It's not like I can't watch it because it makes me feel.
Especially Mortal Kombat, because they don't look like real people. They're all their faces are wonky and their proportions
there's
are.
There's just
meh.
something about it. I think
Sniper Elite looks like.
I think maybe it's the noises, the wet noises of the bones cracking.
You can turn all that off, but I'm well, then what's the point of me playing the game?
Yeah.
If I don't get to see bullet time every shot, then the game's not worth it for me.
I'm okay with gore here and there, but I don't know. One of the goriest games that I've played is also one of the most ridiculous. Is the Dead Space series, 1 and 2. There's some pretty disturbing.
Was there a 3?
Necromorphs. There was. We played it for a little bit. It was the co-op one. It was just very more action oriented. Didn't get as high reviews, but it was still decent. That game was pretty fun. It was scary. The enemy designs were really good. The babies crawling on the wall. Ugh.
Oh my god.
And just that it's that they studied car wrecks to make all the creatures.
Oh,
it's just
that's awful.
There's just so many they just look so awful and realistic, and I mean obviously they're horrible. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing monsters, but
yeah,
it was just terrifying going through these dark corridors and you just see one burst down. And
I cannot play games like that.
It's
weird.
weird.
As someone who's my favorite games are Journey and No Man's Sky. I can't.
I usually don't do those kind of games, but just Dead Space sucked me in. I would go to bed with nightmares, but I would be I have to do it. I have to complete it. I have to save Isaac.
I try and avoid any sort of stress in a game because I'm playing games to de-stress.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the games even some of the games that aren't horror will stress me out, Shadow of the Colossus stressed me out a lot and gave me the creeps, but I couldn't stop playing it because it was so amazing. That kind of thing.
Little stress isn't bad, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Shovel Knight was...
Well, that's why I can't play horror games.
I can't do it. Especially all the VR horror games right now. No way.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
No.
Some of the ones that aren't even horror games can be pretty scary.
The Batman one was...
Batman?
Oh, yeah.
Killer Croc was
Killer Croc is terrifying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. On repeat, it's easier the more you do it because you know where he's gonna be, so it's not there's nothing.
You're bracing
yourself. It's that first time when you don't know what it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then you're okay, now you know the routine, so you can look at it more objectively as this is just an animation. This is just a bunch of polygons.
But he's still
he's still pretty scary.
He's still really big.
If I was Batman, I'd be shitting my pants.
I mean, that's the thing with VR. The biggest. It's if you're playing this on a regular non-VR, it wouldn't be as scary.
No, not at all.
But because you have scale, oh my gosh, it changes everything.
The scale changes everything.
Yeah, even just talking to regular NPCs is kind of intimidating because your brain wants to not recognize them as fake. It wants to tell you that they're real.
Yeah.
So it's
and I'm just thinking of Bethesda, who's working on Fallout for the Vive right now. Apparently just Fallout, but you can play it with your Vive.
I don't know.
I just can't imagine those Deathstalkers or whatever.
I got
what am I?
I was always really scared getting chased by mutants and monsters
that too.
in Fallout 4.
These mutants are gonna be giant. They're gonna be
I'm just running away from them when I played Fallout 4. I was so scared of all the mutants that I couldn't do that one in VR.
Now if they leave in the hole where you can freeze time and select a body part like and shoot it. That I think that would make it work,
Yeah.
because then you'd feel like you'd have a little bit more control to like take a breather. But if not, I think it would be too much. It would be too much.
Yeah. I mean, Minecraft's pretty scary in VR.
Minecraft's pretty.
I mean, it's such a dumb game, but it's like,
Yeah.
I've tried it in VR.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I have not.
It's really great
Wait,
in VR.
where have you played it?
It was actually on my
Oh, right.
my phone, actually.
Oh.
The
yeah.
Gear VR.
The Gear.
I have it. Yeah, I played it on Windows 10 with the Oculus, and yeah, it works surprisingly well. You can actually. I was playing just to test it out. I don't play too much Minecraft, but I have it in the past, and Chelsea was on her phone, and I was connecting to her, like to a server with her, because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like a demo thing, and I was like, oh, I'm in VR, and you're on your phone, and you can see me, and
Yeah.
it's really
cool.
yeah. But the thing with that is, like, your brain isn't really convinced that these blocky things around you are real.
Yeah, so it's not as scary,
Yeah. But still, Minecraft by itself with those creepers is scary, because you're like, all my stuff, no.
Even getting
Don't
chased
take
by
away
a
from me.
creeper or a zombie in Minecraft scares me. I'm just a,
And it's less
I'm just
about
a
it's less
scaredy
about
cat
dying
when it
and
comes
more
to
about
games.
all the diamonds that you're gonna lose.
Speak for yourself. I'm terrified seeing one of those creepers
I'm
coming. I'm like, don't
terrified
blow me up.
I'm terrified of like like blocks like this you have to cross on top of with lava below, because like sure enough I'm gonna fall into that lava and
Yeah.
all my diamonds are gonna be gone. There's been so many rage quits with Minecraft over the
Yeah.
years when I used to play
Yeah.
it with people like welp, that's the end of this game, because
Never playing it again.
I just spent 3 hours getting all these diamonds, and
Yeah.
and then I fell into a
I enjoy Minecraft whenever I'm playing it. I'll get into stints where I'll play it for a few days, but it's like I never make any progress. So I get really frustrated and bored with it, because it's like, okay, I built a 4-wall dirt house. Now what? Like, I don't have the patience to go mining to make like all these structures and stuff. I'm just like,
Those survival games they're all kind of the same. Conan
Yeah.
Exiles, Ark. It's
Yeah.
just a lot of. I don't know.
you gotta
They can be fun.
put a lot of
but-
time into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know in
I
Ark
don't have
you can tweak the like last time I played Ark I think I tried it on PS4 just because I'm interested to see how it performs there. Not very great, but like you can set all the stuff even on any of the PC versions or the PS4 versions, like the numbers, so it's like you can hit one rock in your max level if you want. So I didn't do that, but you can adjust it so you don't have to babysit the game.
yeah.
Because, if you're just playing by yourself, single player, like, the world will stop and freeze. The problem is, like, if you're playing on a server, you have to come in all the time. And I remember when, like, Curly and Steve and Sam were playing that, it's like it was like a second job for them,
Yeah.
And it was like, this is a lot. Like, and of course I wouldn't go there. And if anyone flew over my little base in there, it would activate my dinosaur as if they were there. And I'm like, stay away from my base, because it acts like I'm offline if no one
Yeah.
interacts with anything. And then they would, and then I'd have to go and feed the dinosaur, and then, well, I just let it die.
I was just remembering the last time we played Minecraft together online. You like left the server open and you streamed it for fans, and you were like, oh, if you're watching and you're a fan of SPG, like join us on Minecraft and we're gonna play for a while. And like the only person who joined us was like this 10-year-old kid who had no idea like who we were.
Not that we are
Yeah.
anybody, but
Well,
know,
no, no, he didn't find us because of your
Yeah,
tweet.
yeah, it
He
was
wasn't
just
a
like
fan. It was just some random like
random-
10-year-old who like entered your server, and he
Yeah.
was like messing with us, and I was just like, oh my god, and why am I even playing this? Good times.
yeah. I every time I start a Minecraft server or something, my goal is to always build like a glass tower as
Yeah.
high as I can go, because they keep increasing the world height. So I'm like, how far can I make it?
I remember like being off in the forest, like doing something and looking out into the distance and just seeing this huge like pillar.
And not like
leading
creative
to the
mode
top.
either. Like like taking
I was like,
taking
oh my
sand,
God.
putting it in an oven, and waiting for glass, and taking the glass at the top.
Yeah.
You have like a spiral staircase in the middle of it.
It was amazing. I walked.
I built it the
walked
same
all the
each
way
time.
up to the top.
I don't know why that's, because if it was just a regular
mean,
tower,
you
it'd be
need-
one thing. But glass tower, it's
you
like,
need-
well, there's a lot of sand around here.
You need some kind of goal when you're playing Minecraft.
and it's see through.
Might as well
it
be
looks
that.
cool.
Yeah.
And then of course there's like you're placing it, stopping, you misstep, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried another game like this, but a little more casual friendly? Lego Worlds. They
I
recently
haven't, because it was $20 and
No.
I didn't see any reviews.
they well they just had an update. Now they actually have like a campaign. It starts off pretty good, like in the campaign and everything, but it's pretty much build whatever you want in Legos.
Is this separate from the Lego Dimensions?
Yeah, it's like Minecraft.
So is Dimensions
survival
done?
No, they just released expansions in September. They didn't add like another main campaign. They just kind of expanded on it. But
Okay, so it's a different game.
it's like it's like Lego Minecraft. And you get to choose your character. It's pretty adorable.
Have
if
you
it is
played it on
sale.
PC or PS4?
I played on PC, but it definitely works really well on console.
So you played on console?
Well, you can plug in your controller, so
Oh, okay.
I imagine it's like, oh, this would be really great on console.
The one question, does it run at 60 frames a second?
That I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty cute, but it leaves a lot to be desired, I think.
So
there's a point where you get to it like, oh, I did all this stuff, I unlocked all this stuff, now what? How do I get more costumes?
Okay.
What do I do?
Yeah.
How do I do it?
Oh, and as far as Minecraft clones go, there's also that Dragon Quest Builders one that you were playing.
Oh, it's
For a
pretty
while.
good. Like, 'cause for me, it's like, what? Why it's not multiplayer? But then you play the
Yeah.
campaign, and you're like, the gameplay loop is good enough. I don't think it has the draw as Minecraft. I mean, yeah, you're making your own stuff, but the gameplay loop works well with the campaign. So that one's pretty nice. It's pretty good, but I wouldn't go into it thinking like, I like Minecraft. I'll like this game. I think it's just that it takes some of the crafting elements from it.
Yeah.
Not
There's a lot of
necessarily
those games.
yeah.
There's a lot of voxel games. Trove is probably my favorite.
That one's
it looks
free
the
to
worst,
play.
but it's pretty fun. It's pseudo MMO.
I didn't see much like to advancement in the game.
Well, it depends on. I mean, you level up your class, then you can level up fishing, you can level up professions. It's pretty much Minecraft, and you can switch your class on the fly.
Yeah,
And
I remember seeing that.
you can like call down your house at certain locations.
They have it on PS4 now too.
Yeah, it's a good game, but it's
For
super
free,
voxely.
can't
super
complain.
voxely.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, we talked about nothing but video games.
on the
Video
subject
games.
of video games, I could read a question.
Okay.
Let's do questions.
I mean, it's we've talked about this before ourselves, but what games are you looking forward to that have been announced or you hope will be announced?
Mass
this
Effect Andromeda patch.
for the facial.
I don't actually.
Um,
I just want them to fix the SLI
Yeah.
support. I'm getting so many graphical bugs that I don't see on consoles, and I'm like, it's not fair.
Yeah, it's same with me.
You're getting graphical bugs.
Oh
too?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't see them on consoles. I looked at the Penny XL's Camille's. I turned her on game for a second on PS4, and I didn't see the same graphical bugs that I'm getting on PC.
It kind of sucks because it feels like the game would be less of a hassle if we had bought it on consoles.
Yeah.
Because it's you usually think that PC's gonna be superior, but
I mean, some stuff looks good. The lighting, the HDR looks really nice. But and to be fair, I'm already like 40 hours in, and I am having fun with the gameplay, but I feel like the graphical bugs need to be fixed. And then after that, I really think they need to work on, I don't know, facial animations, character creator maybe.
I don't even think because I know how they do all those dialogue is that some of them are just algorithms. Some the ones that are least, important.
Yeah.
But some are animated, but they're all start with like an algorithm or a designer going in and just marking where the mouth moves.
One of the animators from the Uncharted games came out and like explained how it worked, and with The Witcher they did something similar, where they have like the program kind of generate stuff, and then they go and the idea with Mass Effect Andromeda was that they were going to go back and hand tweak all those little the animations that they're pulling from a pool to make it so no janky ones are there. And where The Witcher, where they have an automated system that will, if it notices that it's janky, it like redoes it according to what this article was saying. I don't know if it was an article. I think it was just a series of tweets, maybe, or a note or something. But yeah, it was interesting because like it's obvious. I think it's obvious anyone watches, like no one intended it to be that way, and it's not terrible. There are like the main cutscenes are decent, But
I think more than that, if they could just get the humans looking less weird.
It's weird that some of the main characters, I'm like, this person, the dead eyes, even your character, the main character, like if you don't use the preset, writers and you create your own, I feel like
mine looks pretty.
Yeah,
she looks bad. She looks pretty bad.
The worst one is the clown makeup lady.
Oh my
with the
gosh.
blue
Yeah.
eyeshadow and like the blush. She looks like she's about to go on
She is.
stage or something.
She's probably
I'm
the
like,
worst
oh.
at it. And the aliens look good. The aliens all look like,
especially with all that HDR stuff. Their skin looks great. And
The aliens look fine.
there's some clipping issues, but
I know someone said all of the aliens escaped relatively unscathed, except for the blue ladies, because they've got the human features.
Yeah.
They've got the same
Yeah.
wonky eyes.
They do, yeah.
It's unfortunate. The eyes are a big part of it. If they could
Yeah.
just fix the eyes, I would be happy.
Yeah, when I was looking at Horizon Zero Dawn, I beat that game probably in about 40 hours. So
I'm still working
it was
on that one.
like I thought, oh, they're not as good as The Witcher. It's not like super great,
So
but
much better than
then you
Better than Mass
when you go
Effect.
to Mass Effect, it was
Yeah.
kind of jarring. It was like, oh, actually, Horizon was really good because
I had the
unfortunately we're getting
same critiques
spoiled.
with that one. Yeah.
The Uncharted animator was basically saying the same thing. Is like customers are coming to expect a certain quality.
For sure, we're getting
polish on
very
stuff.
spoiled, and like our standards are higher and higher. Like I thought, after playing so much Witcher, I wasn't super impressed with Horizon's facial animation.
Well, even with Witcher, you're kind of like, yeah, it's not because it's obvious that not everything is motion
Yeah.
captured, but it's an RPG. There's hundreds of
I-
hours of dialogue that you
I
can
saw
listen
a
to
video
people.
of like side by side comparisons of NPCs talking in both Witcher and Mass Effect Andromeda,
Yeah.
and the difference is insane.
Oh yeah, when you
Witcher,
see like Siri crying, like you see, and they don't have any of that in
It's
Mass Effect
once
Andromeda.
again, a lot of it is in the eyes and the little facial ticks, and like it's a much older game than Andromeda, but they the features that matter were better.
I think it's easy for anyone to just basically say, "Oh, the studio didn't have enough time," but it has something to do with that because CD Projekt Red, they took as much time as they
Yeah.
basically needed.
And what about Inquisition? Inquisition was not that bad. Like
No,
it suffered
was-
from a little like are the characters looking kind of ugly or
I went back and tried to
weird,
play
but-
the DLCs and I couldn't after The Witcher because it just looks so wonky.
It's a little
to me.
dated now.
Yeah.
I remember when the game came out, I had to switch to PS4 just because it was so poorly optimized. Inquisition, but now
It's
I can
it's-
play it like smooth as glass.
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah,
But I already gotten so far in the PS4, and it looks great on the PS4. It looks, well, yeah, it is. It's starting date, but it looks like obviously they took that engine. I don't know if they took the same facial animation,
Frostbite engine. Yeah.
but it looks how the mouse moves looks like Mass Effect 3. If you go back and play Mass Effect 3, it looks awful now by today's standards. But
To be fair, I think some of the stuff holds up better than Andromeda. Granted, Andromeda has a lot more people to talk to because it's a little open world, so there's a lot more less meaningful conversations you're gonna
Yeah.
have, and those are the ones that are kind of over the shoulder, and the people just stand there and their heads move.
some of
and
those
like,
are the
okay.
worst. Like some of the people just look so weird. Like they just have features that
Yeah, every time I
like
walk up to
jagged
someone,
polygons for like cheeks
There
and
was
like
that one guy who's like his eyebrows, his brow line
and
was
you're like,
like
I feel sorry for that
lopsided.
guy. I'm like,
There's-
you've only seen him for a second, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going, if I
I
had to
was
show
like-
off Andromeda, like, there's some great moments in the game, but
He looked
most
sad,
you spend
and
a
it was
lot of
just his
time
eyebrows,
looking at
like-
ugly.
it's
not
so
ugly.
it's not to say that
He was
that
pretty
oh
ugly.
they don't have the they're not all super attractive. It's not that. It's
No,
it's
it's
that there's
they don't
something
look right.
there's something not human about
there's something
that.
not
Yeah.
human. It's like the uncanny
Yeah.
valley a
I'm
little
not-
bit.
if
Once
they
again,
did,
Witcher had plenty of ugly, unattractive
yeah.
NPCs, but they looked like real people.
yeah, you could see the grease on them.
Yeah.
Right.
like, stuff like
these
that.
these guys, like
Any-
his face was melting, and I was like, oh.
Anytime my character gets next to a window, it's like just it's the pores on her face light up with like it looks like a canyon. Like I hate it. That's not how
Yeah.
a face works.
Yeah.
They're yeah.
And the one guy who, like, I thought it was the perspective of the camera, but then, like, you moved the camera and I realized he just had, like, this really strange elongated torso with tiny legs. I still don't know what was up with
Pretty
him.
much all of the human males in the game, I don't know why, but their
I'm like, have they
waistlines
ever
are,
seen
like,
a human
lowered.
male?
And it might just be the suits they're wearing. Like maybe in the
Yeah.
future the belt lines are dropped.
But it looks
well
like he has
below
tiny
the...
legs and, like, a huge
No, yeah,
torso.
I do
I
think
don't
the
know.
proportions are off on the
They're
males
really
for some reason.
off.
I don't know why.
I also notice a lot of almost all the NPCs share the same animation idleness, like male,
Oh.
female. It does not matter across the board. And you can
They
see
all
them
do
like
the same shit.
like I saw like a male Turian and a female human, and they were rocking back and forth with the same animation. I was like,
Oh,
how is that?
no.
I mean, good for you. I guess you lined it
it
up on the
just seems so
skeletons.
cheap.
You matched it like so well that
Yeah.
like they can't even share the same skeletons, do they? Because maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, I doubt. I know it's a lot to asking of, but I think the thing is like if this was an independent studio, you could not. I don't know about forgive them because it's like whatever. Some people you don't need
Yeah.
that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's the idea that it's from EA as the publisher. Like there's
Yeah.
money ain't a concern for them, and yeah, it's an expensive game, but unfortunately, just to me, like I like Mass Effect. Like I like the gameplay. They have a lot great innovation. The innovations, the jump jets and stuff. That adds a lot to the game.
The combat's is probably the best it's ever been.
Yeah, the open world. I don't care that you can't. You can't control your team as much as you could in the other games.
Yeah,
but even then, like most of the stuff is a step forward. But some of the graphics and some of the
customization's awful, and I couldn't even do a redo because they don't have it in the game.
If at the very least they could at least give us like a Black Emporium kind of thing, like Dragon Age did, or even in Mass Effect 3, you could go to your doctors and pay money and redo your face.
I loved my Shepherd from Mass Effect 2 and 3. I love that it carried over.
Yeah.
This one I'm not like. I tried to get her looking like, okay, she looks like such a real person. She's not like super pretty, but she's like.
Yeah.
You know, like but she just looks so wonky no matter what I do.
Yeah.
You know, there's something.
I always go for that when I.
There's something with the
characters.
perspective too, like when you, and it must be the angle of the camera when you're in the character creator, because then when you get in the game, you're like, oh, I didn't realize their face was this elongated, even though you're like checking every side of them.
Yeah.
And it has something. It must have something to do with.
I remember having similar issues with Dragon Age Inquisition, honestly. Like, but of course, I was playing the ugliest race, the bull people.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, of course I have to play one of those. They're amazing looking. Yeah. So I ended up just going with one of the defaults because I could not like deform my face.
The female models for that race were pretty cool. I remember seeing
they were.
some of the defaults.
It's just a little, I don't know. If you start messing with it too much, you break it. You basically break the look in it, and then you have like this giant chin or like.
Yeah,
I feel like the sliders are there just to make you look not correct.
Generally, I'm pretty boring when I'm in character creator because I'm trying to like create me.
Yeah.
So like I played like a really plain Jane like human female, but every time I tried like tweaking things, she just looked really off. So I basically like left all the sliders in the middle, and she was kind of just really plain and boring. But like I couldn't get her to look interesting without looking bad.
Man, Mass Effect Andromeda, they also have they suffer from the thing where you have to pick a base preset and you basically. It's not
tweak
like
that. Yeah,
it's not like you can take any
preset
and turn it into anything. You have to actually pick like a preset first. Otherwise, because you don't get any like here's the noses you can pick from, here's the eyes you can. It's like you're basically just morphing, which based on assuming that they do that so they have more control over the facial animations. Like it
looks bad. I mean, the voice actor. I like the voice actress. She's different and not Shepard, which I'm liking. Like she has a different personality, but. Yeah. She looks awful, or he looks awful, depending on. I actually haven't heard the male one. Everyone I know is playing the girl. So
well, if you play the game more, you'll hear no spoilers, but you'll hear more. You'll hear memories at least. That's all I'll say.
Oh, yeah, it's weird. Okay, well, I made the brother kind of look like David, but once again, there's not enough.
No.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
I made my entire family Asian, and the dad looked pretty normal. Like they did a good job, but I think it's based on your presets that you pick. So that, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how much stuff you tweak with. Maybe it does, but how much you tweak with your own character. Your dad just inherits the default presets and maybe your eye color. Because I made all my family had red eyes just because.
Mine had pink eyes, so my dad had pink eyes. It looked weird.
I put lipstick on my brother, and and that looks weird. I thought I don't know.
The lipstick doesn't match up with the lining of the lips.
It doesn't, but at the same time, it's like maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe in the future.
No, the makeup just looks stupid.
Maybe in the future, no one lines their lips.
No, it's horrible. It's just horrible. It's just awful. Then even the scarring the only scars you can put on are rashes. Like
ew.
Yeah, I put a scar on my nose and it was like, this doesn't look like a scar. It looks like I have like bad I guess like acne scarring. Not even. It looks like a rash. It looks like you got sunburned.
I guess, but well,
I wanted like a cool deep scar in my face.
But I mean, if it was a new property, I don't think anyone would care. It's that. I mean, that's the thing when you're doing a series. There's a lot to live up to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just Inquisition did it so much better, and it wasn't perfect, but it still did it. I hate that.
I mean, I haven't played any of the past Mass Effects, and leading up to this one, I was like, I might give it a try because I have no problem jumping into a franchise halfway through, but now that it's come out, I have no interest.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too. Like I'm as a fan, like I'm appreciating everything in it, like for the most part, except some of the presentation is not great, but
it's honestly it's bad enough that it's taking me out of the game.
Yeah, sometimes I'm liking some of the gameplay and stuff, but I'm not as drawn to go and play it just because it wasn't like The Witcher where I'm like, I can't wait.
Yeah. Can't wait to jump back in.
I can't wait to put another 100 hours in, which is exactly what happened after I got the new expansion. It was like didn't even. I thought I was done. I was.
Well, with specific, I think with the sprawling like open world, epic, big titles, there has to be. I don't know. I guess I have really high standards as far as immersion is concerned because, like I always say, when I play The Witcher, it doesn't feel like I'm playing a video game. It feels like I'm in a treading like a novel, like a story, and I'm totally immersed in the world. And even though I'm really enjoying playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't really feel any investment in the characters in the story. Not saying that it's a bad story. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. I think I have really high standards.
The world building is
that's really important. The characters and the writing is really important.
The world building's nice in Horizon and stuff.
It is.
Same in
it's
Andromeda,
a really awesome idea.
But I think unfortunately for every other game that's ever going to come out is The Witcher 3 spent so much time on details like this path will look like this because they've been moving carts, like they thought about little things like that.
And I know it's kind of unfair to say like, oh, The Witcher made me feel like I was reading a book and other games don't because it's based on a book. So I know that's kind of unfair, but it's the attention to detail and the visuals that make it feel like a lived-in world. And Horizon is almost there, and like the settings are spectacular, but I still don't really feel like it's a real world that people have been living in. It still kind of feels like a movie.
I mean, it's pretty good if you're considering they went from.
But yeah, I'm not knocking it.
The developer's other game. What was it? Killzone?
Yeah, Killzone and Riggs. Riggs, which I think is dead now.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, I couldn't get into it.
I know there's a Easter egg. There's like a Riggs billboard and
there's
Horizon.
They have the whole Kojima. What is it? Ludens thing. Because they're using the same engine for Death.
As what?
Stranding.
Horizon?
Yeah.
They're using the same engine?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Horizon's, I think the biggest gripe for me is just it looks pretty, and then you get into the conversations and stuff, and you realize the loops.
Yeah.
They could solve a lot of problems if they just made the characters break eye contact. No one consistently looks at someone dead on all the time.
Once again, it's nowhere near as bad as what I've seen of Andromeda, but it's the facial animations that I wasn't super impressed with in Horizon. The setting is very pretty, but
Andromeda.
I think that's why I haven't felt invested in the characters. Like the main protagonist is really awesome, and I have fun controlling her, or running around the world. But like, I don't really have any like investment in her story, and I think a lot of it has to do with the talking to people isn't engaging.
I enjoyed it more once I just focused on the main story.
I might have to do that.
You can tell that the. I mean, just like most games, like sprawling RPGs, like, I mean, this is more like an action RPG, but still, that the main story has the most focus on it. And there still are those moments where you talk to someone, but you're not in them as long as something like Mass Effect or Witcher, and that's why it matters that even those small encounters, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah, Horizon feels like
I do nothing but side quests in these games. Like I get obsessive about doing that stuff before
but I
beating
liked
it. So that's fair.
I liked the story in Horizon, like it drew me in. But I mean, I'll agree, like that it was kind of like I don't know if it's Uncanny Valley, because I get that with The Witcher too a little bit, but I feel like it doesn't break the immersion. Like I'm more focused on the story of The Witcher rather than he looks kind of weird. His mouth shouldn't be moving that way. Like
it's just some personality, and I think like you guys haven't really played this game, but Elder Scrolls Online, what it looks like now looks better than Andromeda, and it's very simple, like lip syncing. They built a system that kind of probably just finds the words, and it's convincing enough. I mean, it's not great, but it's just because there's enough style put with it, you don't really question it too much. But with Andromeda, it just sticks out like a sore thumb because everything looks so beautiful, and
Yeah, there's enough YouTube videos dissecting it and like their eyes go over here and then like
They look so shifty. They look like someone who's being interrogated in LA Noire.
I think they tried. They tried to.
I
do
would
some
take
of that.
LA Noire over Andromeda
Like looking
too.
everywhere, but
'Cause,
the
I mean,
person
even
they're
that-
talking to.
Because I mean that's a disc. The only thing I see in LA Noire is the disconnect with, and of
Yeah.
course that's like how many more than 10 years old now. But the disconnect there was that their face stuff was captured separate from their bodies.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, I get it. They probably spent a lot of time trying to make sure that they knew what they did, but
Like,
it's
I'm-
like you can just tell that I know you know that they did it because
I'm-
they have nothing but video of the behind the scenes of them standing and
They-
just going like this
Yeah.
with their face completely still, and then they did the motion capture of separately.
I very much respect what they were doing with LA Noire, doing that new
Yeah.
motion capture technology, but man, is it creepy. And you know,
I like it.
You
I
know what
like
it
it.
feels? Yeah. No, I mean, like it's a
'Cause
great
nothing's gonna
game.
beat-
and
nothing's gonna-
We've been playing it kind of on and off
yeah, I've
lately,
beaten
but
it already, yeah.
but yeah, it's great, but also it makes me think that like everyone I talk to is an alien wearing a human skin mask. That's what it feels. That's
Well,
what it
it's
looks
weird.
like.
It's 'cause
like,
the-
and it doesn't move.
The
quite
animation's
right.
so great, and then the textures are pretty old,
Yeah.
and that's why and it looks kind of
like
weird.
Their faces are like
It-
stretched really
On
tight.
PS3, it wasn't as bad because PS3 it was like it was a crappier resolution
Yeah.
on the crappier TVs, but I mean, it almost feels like there's a movie playing on someone's face, and that's pretty much what's happening, right?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
But if they did, they have some. I mean, they've been showing off stuff like that before, but I mean, Uncharted does pretty well for how they do it. I mean, theirs is a little more stylized.
Well,
but
they pretty much animate all of it, right?
no, they motion capture like Uncharted stuff. Like,
Well, I mean,
even
like the
faces and
the
stuff.
faces.
I was gonna say
Yeah, they
that's,
go in.
that's
and
probably a
stuff, too,
benefit
but
to
yeah.
them. That
But it's also not a sprawling RPG either.
Right.
they're
It's moment to
just,
moment.
it's just stylized enough that it avoids the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
I think that's where they really benefit.
And
in
it's
their
hard. It's hard
style.
to say that. Oh, do that with an RPG. And like then that means every NPC everything has to be an epic scene. And
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 wasn't terrible. But
That was
it
pretty good.
It was
but
pretty good.
I-
It's getting dated now, but
It's also motion capture too, and
Red Dead. I hope
Oh, I can't
Oh.
wait.
Gosh, I hope that one's good.
Yeah, back to the question we were asked. I guess. I mean, everyone knows what I'm looking forward to. That's already been
well, another
announced.
Mass Effect's out.
Red
Red
Dead
Dead.
2 and
Red Dead 2. Yeah.
I'm excited for the Final Fantasy 12 HD release in
I'll be excited when
July.
they announce that it's gonna be 60 frames, but they haven't, so I'm doubting it's gonna be
I'm
60 frames.
trying to think of the other part of the question was what are you hoping that will be announced that hasn't been announced yet? And I don't really know.
I'm hoping for a Dragon Age MMO or BioWare's next IP.
like
They,
what's
Be
BioWare's
cool.
been working on it. Their main team did not work on Mass Effect.
No, they
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't.
They hired like a port studio that
Well,
hadn't
what
done
yeah.
are
it
they
before, right?
working on?
I don't remember. I don't know.
We don't know. They
knows?
have not announced it. There
Yeah.
has been some rumors. This is a new IP, but there has been some rumors they're doing like a Dragon Age real-time strategy game. But I'm not really that interested.
No.
But that's been like rumors for years.
But I mean,
Yeah, I
why,
don't know
what I
why.
like about BioWare is their RPG thing. Like, you can see like everything they've done in Mass Effect and Dragon Age, like in Knights of the Old Republic and stuff. And my favorite was probably Knights of the Old Republic 2, and it was pretty hard to get into back then. Like, when they made Dragon Age, the first one, like on PC, that was pretty tough to get into if you weren't. If you didn't know how to do
Yeah.
that. And then when they did the console version and they made it a little more simpler, and I'm like, oh, I get it. And then 2 went too far in the console direction. And then 3 somewhere in between. But, I really liked like Knights of the Old Republic 2. And it was the same thing. Like, I'm going to turn all my I'm going to become an evil Jedi with 2 red lightsabers. And, I'm going to find all those crystals. And then I'm going to have enough dialogue options to have to make out with my whatever crew members on my ship, and also get them to turn to the Sith side and also become a Jedi, and it was
Yeah.
fun to kind of do that kind of stuff.
The BioWare does pretty good work. I mean, they single-handedly brought me back into playing single-player games. I really wasn't playing them that much until Dragon Age 2. But I know Old Republic, they're still working on the criticism right now is that they before it was like it doesn't feel like Knights of the Old Republic 2 or whatever. It feels like they tried to do that, but it suffers from being too much of an MMO. Now they've basically just disregarded the MMO aspect, and they just made these awesome stories, and they have so many chapters I haven't played yet. But that's all great, and it feels like a single player game. And then once you're done with it, you're like, okay, and then there's just this crappy MMO attached to it. That's what it kind of feels like right now.
I, mean,
It's
I felt like that with the vanilla game too, because it's just like the only MMO that I tried to get to end level with, and I did it, but then I went back into it. I'm like, I have 30 little slots, and I don't even remember what they do anymore, and I can't learn it.
It's so convoluted. They've tried to brush it up, but it's still just so convoluted.
Like, that's not what I want in a Jedi game anyways. Like, if I'm going to be a Jedi in that sense, like, oh, okay, first hit this power to prime that, and then hit that. And like,
I hate that.
And then 30 button presses later, you've defeated whatever.
You don't really have to do that, I guess, in the single-player campaign, but it's all right. It comes from that one came from a different era, so it was trying to be more like World of Warcraft and
I like that
EverQuest.
everything was voiced over. That was really cool, and it didn't look too Uncanny Valley for the most part.
It still looks pretty decent after all these years. Obviously, the newer character models, you look all like simple, and you go up to like one of the new, like the Emperor, and he's like all detailed, and he has all these great textures. It's like,
yeah, it has a little kind of a cartoony look to it.
But BioWare does good work. It's like most of the time. I mean, there's always.
Maybe they're working on maybe they're working on Dragon Age MMO.
Remember how much hate they got from Mass Effect 3? Like,
but that was unfounded. Like the director's
still don't understand
the director's
that.
version edition was great and all, but like, yeah, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because the game ended, not because it didn't end this way that I wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a cop out, but at the same time, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what could they have done? Like, there's nothing they could have done. Like,
Mass Effect 3 was weird because it was like these aliens are destroying the universe, and you're taking time to go
buy a space gerbil. And
it's like, wait, what?
But isn't that a symptom of every game where you have like side quests?
I guess,
Or
but
I didn't play it, so I don't really
Andromeda
know
is
the
much
context.
more.
However, I think that Mass Effect 3, while I do think 2 is the best, 3, I think, has the best DLC out of all of them. Like, the DLC and all that, like, they wrapped up a lot of the character stories in meaningful ways, and it was touching, and yeah, the ending was kind of like, meh. But then they did the director's cut, and I'm like, oh, this actually makes it really great. The Normandy comes down right before the last battle, and it's like, oh, wow, that we have this touching moment with the crew, like, and then they have, I don't know if you ever played the DLC for Mass Effect 3, but they have that Shepherd's House Party DLC. That's not what it's called, but
I think I watched some of that
It's called
stuff.
the Citadel DLC.
It was so great. It was like,
I don't know why I know that.
It was like because it was made knowing that people already beat the game and were like, meh. And then they go and play the DLC, and it was like
It's supposed to take place before all that, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
And everyone died.
Yeah,
because
I
it
had a lot
puts
of
you back before the last mission, anyways. After you beat it, so what I did is I beat all the DLC after I beat the vanilla game. Then when that director's cut came out and all the DLC, I waited until it all came out, and then I played it through because it puts you at the end after you beat the game, and I just loaded that save up, did all the DLC, and did the Citadel stuff last, and then I went right into the end game, and I saw the director's cut, and I'm like, wow, yeah, that was really great.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of so that's what I'm hoping for Andromeda is like they still have time. They can.
Camille's favorite from the original trilogy is number 3, and she never even got to play the Citadel DLC because
she's missing out on the best part.
Our old PS3 died, and there was like no way we took it to like a GameStop, and they tried to help us, and he said there was like no way to salvage her save data, so she lost like all of her Mass Effect save data.
Yeah, I have none of mine either. I tried to recover it.
Yeah, she was like, I would have to play all of them again, and she was like, I know the DLC is really great, but I just can't do it.
Well, see, I went from I think I started number 2 on PlayStation 3, but then I moved over to PC because I just didn't like the crappiness of PS3 at the time. But to recreate my save data, luckily on PC, some people made programs that you could, if you could.
Oh.
Because I was transferring from PS3 to PC, and you could type in the numbers of like, because they had like numbers to share with other people for your Shepherd customization, and then you can go through all the different side quests you didn't like and pick what you did, and that was pretty nice. It was kind of like the Dragon Age.
I just wonder why did Origin I guess didn't have their autosave thing now that they back then, because all my save data was just nowhere to be found.
Was there an Origin back there? I don't remember.
There was
for 3, but there was Origin for 3. Origin wasn't around for 2.
It's just weird that I didn't save any of my stuff. It's all gone.
It's it probably was just saved on. Hard drive. Anyways, yeah,
that's cool.
Citadel, it was like, I don't know. It felt like the proper way to wrap it up, and even 2 had some really great DLCs. Yeah, there's a lot. There's Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 is the worst.
It
was great for its time, but it did not draw me in.
Yeah, after Camille played all 3, she was like, "Oh, you gotta play these games. They're great." And I could not get through the first few hours of Mass Effect 1. And
One
I
is
You
just
shouldn't even start.
I know that, like,
Don't even
that's not.
start at that
I know
one.
that I should like skip it or just keep pushing through
And now
to get
after
to the
Witcher
good
3,
stuff.
you're
But I was
never
just
gonna
so
get-
bored.
You
And
really want to sit in an elevator for 15 minutes? while
Even
the
EA
level
agrees
loads?
because they made like that whole like they made like an interactive comic that'll get you
Yeah,
through
when-
number 1.
when 2 came out, or 2 was it 2 that came when it came out for PS3 before 3 came out? They didn't have 1 on. They eventually did come out on 1 for PS3, but before that they just had that interactive comic, and that was a way to.
Yeah, and I got to relive all and it's pretty good. It wraps up everything. And you don't feel like you have to play number 1.
And yeah, all the things I remember from 1 that were great, but then I remember the long elevator loading, like in the Citadel.
Andromeda is pretty bad itself with.
But
the
it's not
galaxy
even
map.
loading. It's just a really long animation of flying to planet.
yeah, you
and
can't
that's
skip it.
and someone did the calculations. They're like, I beat the game. I did everything. 60 hours it took me to beat it, and I calculated, and I spent 3.5 hours in
Oh my
space
God.
scanning planets. And I'm like, and most of that was just waiting for to go to the next
It's
planet,
awful. They need to
Yeah.
increase the speed or something,
or let you skip it.
yeah, and options.
And
menu.
it's also weird. You zoom into a planet and then you zoom out, and it's kind of janky, especially when you go to the arc or whatever that thing's called.
It just makes you never want to leave a planet once you're on.
Yeah.
I better do all the quests I possibly can before I leave. 'Cause
Yeah. No, literally, like I was trying to scan like right before I went to bed, and I'm like, that's when I try to do it. I'm just like, I don't know, I don't care what I'm doing anymore, because you want to scan them all, but but at the same time, I doubt they actually went and tested that. Or at the same time, I can't imagine any developers, it's not like they don't know that this stuff is not an issue, because there's a gem in that game, and it's not hidden too far underneath the surface of their wonky facial animations and
they do a lot of
super
good
long
stuff. I like the sequence when you first uncover the terraforming technology and you're outrunning this giant cloud.
Spoilers.
Well, come on. I mean,
It's like in the first 5 minutes.
it's
10
like
minutes
it's
of
pretty
game.
much what the game is based around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
But it's. I mean, even though I could see the seams of how they did it, it was pretty effective. Like
Yeah,
it
no.
felt scary and like,
Yeah.
oh wow, like
There's good stuff in there.
it's good. And the combat's really great, and the side quests are not. I mean, besides the janky animations, it's pretty enjoyable.
It's easy to rat on a game, from a big studio as well, because it's like
I'm still having fun with it, but yeah, it's just.
there's
I
a
hope
little
they
bit of
fix-
depressing feeling knowing that nothing's gonna top Witcher 3 in my mind. That's pretty depressing for me,
Yeah.
because I know like CD Projekt Red can't make every game.
Well, I'm not gonna say that they're comparable, but I'm looking forward to Red Dead 2 as something that
yeah.
will totally immerse me.
I haven't been even though Grand Theft Auto wasn't like, and they never did any of the single player DLC that they said they would do, and like the setting is not my cup of tea. Like Grand Theft Auto, is still a well done game.
Yeah.
Even the campaign, like I had no interest in any of the characters. I mean, they were for what it was. Like it was really
Yeah.
great.
And the multiplayer has overshadowed the single player.
Yeah.
Well, they made so much money on shark cards because people were like, "Oh, I don't want to
Right.
wait in game for a yacht, so I'm just gonna pay $100."
It was great. It's exactly what I wanted from a Grand Theft Auto game. Like
yeah.
back when the third one was out, or Vice City, it was
Yeah.
so good. Like, but now I'm just
I
like,
have high
meh.
hopes.
No, I don't care about modern. I don't care
Yeah.
about modern settings.
I've had a lot of fun in it, doing crazy stuff, but
I just don't know what they're gonna do with Red Dead Redemption Online, if they're gonna do shark cards there.
I'm trying to like not get
cowboy
my
bucks.
yeah. I'm trying to not get my expectations like astronomically high, but I mean,
Gold-plated chaps.
Rockstar has never really failed anyone. Really.
Get that gold-plated horse with Gatling guns on the side.
It would be cool if I don't know if they've announced anything about the single player, but I liked in Grand Theft Auto 5 that you played multiple characters.
I thought that would be weird, but then when I played it, it was like, actually, it's pretty interesting. Like,
That'd be cool in Red Dead. I just want to be able to play as a chick in the single player game. I know that's never gonna happen probably, but it would be cool.
Yeah, it seems like Rockstar writes like for male protagonists.
I don't know. Every time I like use it as why I don't play a game like Witcher 3, it's one of my biggest issues is that I don't want to play as a. I mean, he's a really cool character, but it's just
No, I'd
it's-
play as a female if I had a choice. Of
it's
course
just
it would.
video games. There's such a bias that it's a boys' story. It's a boys' club. Growing up, that's all it was. Like it
Yeah.
was just nothing but boys' stories,
Yeah.
story, and it's like all I want is a freaking like female protagonist, and it's like why is that has to be such a sacred thing? Like why do I have to hope for Tomb Raider and Horizon? It's like
Yeah.
why is it so hard to write a story where the hero
Yeah.
is a woman. Like,
and then I also feel bad when I prefer playing Witcher to either Horizon or what was the other
Tomb
one?
Raider.
Tomb Raider.
Witcher is
like
amazing.
honestly,
Like,
Witcher
yeah,
is my
but-
favorite out of the three. But I mean,
I do
too. Like I will always pick the female protagonist if I have a choice. And I don't always like playing as a dude, but I will say that I absolutely love Geralt as a character, so that helps me
he's really cool.
really enjoy it. And he had to grow on me. I remember when I first started playing, I was like laughing at his voice and everything, but then I kind of got that that's the like he's supposed to be like that. And
because to me he feels like he's stuck in this fantasy world.
well,
you know
and
what I
he
mean?
like has a sense of humor.
Yeah,
Like he
like,
kind
you
of
can't-
like is self-aware. He has a sense of humor about himself, which isn't like super apparent.
His voice is in Horizon, by the way. He's,
but,
he's some NPCs.
I've said it before, but I think he also appeals to me because he reminds me of the protagonist from the Dark Tower, which I'm a big fan of. He very much has the similar vibe.
He's basically
Idris
like-
Elba as
of like
as him. would be
really
cool.
serious stoic man who kind of like he has some humor under the surface that most people don't pick up on. I don't know.
cool.
I do
He's-
enjoy him
he's
as a
fantasy
protagonist.
Snake from Metal Gear.
I haven't
Yeah.
I haven't gotten very far, but I've watched my boyfriend play a lot of it. Obviously, I really like the monsters.
Oh, yeah,
such
they
great
like
designs.
yeah.
But in mine, I'm still tweaking it because modding is kind of sometimes you break the game. But I made him use one of the. You can't like customize him, but you can pair different characters' outfits and hair. So I tried to make like female him, but it just ends up looking like that other Witcher. But
Siri?
yeah, so now it's like so he's a woman in every cutscene, but he has a deep voice. It's kind of cool, except I broke the combat. It turned on like cheat mode, and I was like, oh, now I have to figure out how to.
But there's you don't get to do the armor and the color
but-
your armor. And
But
get
I'm not a
better-
big fan of like the style of the armor of the game anyway, so it's like, does it really matter?
when you find the cool looking armor set and you
I
want to get
guess.
your master crafted.
Some of the armor looks pretty funny, but
Yeah,
I guess that's true. Yeah, I would be missing out on that.
But whatever. You also do get to play as Siri, but
You
not
do,
like
you
not
do.
too many times.
And she's basically God mode. That's
Yeah. Well, at any rate, yeah, it would be the only. There is definitely some progressive stuff in The Witcher without spoiling anything. There's some cool female characters in there that aren't just objects of desires to Geralt.
sure. And I mean,
But there's hardly any people of color in the game because
well, isn't it Scandinavian?
yeah,
It's-
that's their reasoning. They
based-
do.
I know it's
on-
getting
it's
some
like
flack
based
for
on
that,
medieval
but
Polish mythology,
they
but
could have changed it just.
But in the
because,
DLC, they do have some Arabic inspired cultured people. So I don't know what they're supposed to be, but in that lore, they're not white. So at least
Yeah, it's a lot of white people.
they have that. But there's a lot of white people. Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
There wasn't.
you
Yeah,
know,
it's just. I know I've seen that people got. It's gotten a lot of flack for that. But
of course diversity is important, but like you can't fault a game for adapting a novel based on Polish
And, you
mythology.
and then you look at the development
You
team,
know?
and you're like, well,
You
from
also-
where they are, they're
yeah,
white
and you
people.
also don't want diversity for diversity's sake because then it's
Yeah.
kind of like cringeworthy. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
they adapted the source material and that's what it is. Like I don't know.
I always look at it as like, well, I can hope for that, but if they don't, then oh well.
Sure.
Because you want progress to be
Yeah.
made, like going forward. You don't want to
Yeah.
force people to do it.
And I
'cause then
mean,
it's cheap.
I'm sure you've seen enough of it because it's like, the main plot point from the get-go is kind of he's trying to find Siri or whatever. But I really love that like the emotional core of the main story is, kind of like a father-daughter relationship
Yeah.
instead of it's not really like a love story.
Yeah.
cool.
It's nice.
Honestly, David has talked so much about it over the years. It's hard to play it.
No, I get it.
I've seen Alex play it. It's great. Like what I've played of it is like amazing, but it's just like I've heard so much about it. It's like getting into it's really hard.
I think
I can't just say
about
the
it a
whole
lot.
gender bias has any. I just say that as like in addition, it's just another game where it's like I can't play as a girl. But I don't know. That's kind of a whole other issue, not just for one game. I mean, I've played plenty of games where I didn't mind, playing as a male protagonist. So
Yeah. Well, what time is it?
We
We
just
talked about video games.
Dude,
a lot.
only video games.
we've talked. It was been like an hour, I think.
Yeah,
kinda.
a little more than an hour. What time are we ending?
Do we have any
2?
more questions, and then we'll call it?
Yeah, I have to
Sure.
leave a
Just 'cause
little
we're-
earlier
just 'cause we're-
today.
Okay.
Well, we're
Um,
also
yeah, I gathered a few more.
pretty lethargic today.
We're pretty tired.
I thought this one was really interesting, and I don't think anyone's really asked it before. Do certain songs take on different meanings after some time has passed?
No.
No.
I mean, I can see
Really.
how other people interpret some of the
yeah.
things.
Yeah, but I think they're the main idea probably sticks with us, and then it might not mean the same eventually to us because it's just like we wrote that song at a certain time in our lives. But
Yeah.
I think so. The original idea of the song stays the same, but it might not affect us the same anymore.
Right.
But I don't think it changes. Not for me, anyways.
Yeah, the meaning doesn't change, but
Yeah.
maybe the way you actively think about it, you don't really think about it anymore after a long time.
Yeah, I don't like Honeybee. It was I
Right.
wrote it as I wrote the first half when I had a relationship, and I wrote the last half when a relationship ended. And it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't even that great of a relationship, and it still has always just been that to me. It's just a stupid, silly song about being stupid in love because I was young, and younger, and it just was.
Yeah.
I look back at what it was, the source material it was based on, and it's just laughable. It's just like, I had a lot of growing to do, and
But after playing it hundreds of times through the years,
it's still the same to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see what some people like say it's their wedding song. Like, I don't see why it would be, because to me it's always going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I wrote like the pretty melody and all that, but it's still just kind of a sad, pitiful song about this person that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I've never understood the choice either as a wedding song, because just look at the very last line of the song. It's obviously not about people staying together, but
people can do it, say whatever they
Yeah.
want, but it's about putting someone on a pedestal needlessly who doesn't deserve it.
yeah.
You should never put someone on a pedestal like that, and it's just kind of blown up in your face. It's not a love song. It's not what people should be aspiring to.
Yeah.
Like, having such tragic romance and stuff is not healthy. It's not. It was unreturned love, basically.
But like any song that gets popular, you'll find it till your dying day.
I like the song. I still stand by its meaning when I sing it on
Yeah.
stage, but it doesn't matter to me that
No,
other
Too
people.
bad my popular song is just about being epic and cool, and that's the only one I got.
No, Honeybee is there's plenty of songs out there like that, but because I'm a U2 fan, I know this one is one of their most popular songs of all time is One, and they get the same thing. People play it at their weddings all the time. People tell them, "Oh, this song is me and my wife's, song." And they're like, "Oh, well, if you listen to it, it's pretty obvious that it's about a really messy divorce." That kind of thing. Where it's like people will take what they will out of a song.
Yeah, there's more than just the lyrics, and
Yeah.
there is the melody, and the melody can drive emotions, definitely.
So the moral of the story is don't ask the artist to
Well,
Yeah.
they asked.
Yeah.
It's I'm not doubting that people can interpret it any way they want.
I'm sure there's people that are just that's it.
I'm not bitter about it or anything.
They're done
I'm
with
glad
Steam Powered
people.
Giraffe.
I'm glad people
Sure.
liked my song.
Yeah.
Like,
You've probably answered this before, but David, what do you adjust with your feet periodically at the front of the stage at shows?
Oh, what do I? Oh, we
You're
have
tapping on something.
we have pedals on stage, and
they inject like some pudding into our mouths. That's what the little thing right here is.
yeah, it's not a microphone. It's a pudding dispenser. So it's a well. I don't think we have any pedals on stage right now. I think Sam had one when he played with us. It was just an overdrive pedal, but the pedals you see on stage are tuners. So we engage those. It mutes we either engage them to mute the guitars if we're doing a bit and we don't want the guitar to sound. Steve can also mute them too, but and when they're muted, they can also be tuned, and then it shows us a feedback of that. And there you go. It's just a tuner. We can look at it and tune in between songs.
Hi. Okay. I don't know who this is from. I forget. But Bunny mentioned that you two rode horses when young. Do you still?
No.
No, we don't own horses. If a role or something, if it ever was called for it, we could probably do it. Like if
Yeah.
we wanted to be cowboys or something.
I rode a horse once in Yosemite.
But if you grow up with it, we never had
Yeah.
a burning desire to do it. Even we were kind of forced to do it as children. So
Ah.
we don't
didn't
have any desires.
Yeah, we didn't take up the family hobby, I guess.
if it even was the family hobby. But no, yeah, we don't. I have no desire either. I've already done it enough. It's not.
No.
I can't. I'm trying to draw a comparison to it. It's like if your family or your dad was a hot air balloonist, always took you hot air ballooning, and like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you don't want to go hot air ballooning?
Screw you,
You know what I
Dad.
mean?
You know,
I want to be a. I don't know.
this is. I just recently watched this documentary. It's kind of old now, but Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like,
Oh my gosh.
It's on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
gosh, the ending is just like it because it's amazing. It's an amazing
Spoilers
documentary.
or no spoilers?
Oh,
I won't
well,
spoil it. I won't spoil it. But you should really
Yeah.
like.
I remember
watch it.
texting you about that one because I saw like a trailer for it and I was like, we gotta watch this.
You should really get. Is it Unari the simple sushi, the working classes sushi? That's what he
Oh.
makes. He doesn't make any rolls or anything. He makes. You should
Inari?
definitely, Inari. You should definitely get some. Otherwise, you're gonna be
Ah.
like, why am I watching this? And then I don't have sushi to eat.
Oh, okay.
with
So
it.
we'll
What if
order
I-
some sushi and then watch it.
So wait, I should get the garbage sushi. Is that what you're saying?
You should.
no,
Well,
it's the simple.
it's a simple. It's like
not
the rice and the. You should at least get a couple. So you
is
can.
that the? It's like
Sushimi?
a rice.
They call it. Is it an Inari? I can't. Or am I thinking of something different?
It's one of those, but yeah, it's the rice with just the piece of fish on top, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
and
Which is very good.
because I usually don't like it because what I'm used to is like conveyor belt sushi or grocery store sushi and it tastes like nothing or rubber. But
Yeah.
Kai Sushi across from
Oh, yeah.
in that mall over there.
Kai, we went there once.
There, we ordered some just like the other day and it was
Mhm.
actually really good. So
Oh yeah, no, I've ordered the really simple one that's just like rice and fish before, and it's
Just
excellent
definitely.
if you get it at a good place.
the fatty tuna is amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we what's the something with a T? I don't remember now.
Tilapia?
No, not tilapia.
I always get like a caterpillar roll or dragon roll.
I mean,
something
the
like-
rolls are
some-
great.
Something like that's so extravagant.
That's definitely like
Yeah.
took off in America, I guess. Which is good because
I prefer the simpler stuff.
Anything with
actually. If
avocado.
There's too many flavor in it. It's like I can't focus on anything.
right. I can appreciate both, but yeah, I mean definitely like I always get the lobster sensation at Kai, which is like decadent
Mhm.
dynamite
Cream
sauce.
cheese
No, there's not. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not cream
Whatever.
Like
cheese.
a Philadelphia roll is like salmon and cream cheese.
Yeah.
And like that's such an American
what
thing.
what part of this is sushi anymore?
Anyways, it just reminded me of like kids taking their fathers or parents' trades.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. Anyways, you should watch it.
Cool.
So, any more questions before we wrap up?
Let me see. Looking. What's your thoughts on a friend of mine and me cosplaying Daughter Space and Commander Cosmo?
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Do it to it.
We've seen
Can't
plenty.
wait.
I've never seen.
Send us pictures.
I've seen plenty of each of those, but never together. So that would be cool.
Send us photos. We'd love to see it.
When is the Rise of the Necronaut going to be released?
Did
Oh
we
my
say it
gosh.
was going to be released?
We haven't given a specific date. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, we had some of those prints that said coming soon. Maybe they.
Yeah,
saw
just
that.
kinda like-
Soon can be from now until the end of time.
I mean, we want to space it out. I think we've had so many albums and stuff. Like it feels like we were just in the Vice Quadrant. I think we're
Yeah.
kind of just backing off and focusing on the robots for a while. But
well, we kind of also have to because we have a new member and stuff.
yeah, and I'm still working on a comic and it's slow going, so it won't be coming until after I finish Red Core, which is just it's going to take as long as that takes. But I have actually started storyboarding and writing out the script for Rise of the Necronaut, and Dave and I have been like mulling over in our minds like what we're going to do with it, and so it's good to have like projects in the future. But I think I don't know. For me, I'm kind of I love all the I don't know what to call it, but like the storytelling, the hero type stuff, like the whole story of like Necronaut, Cosmica, and Commander Cosmo is really fun. But I kind of just want to focus on the robots personally.
Yeah,
Like that's just my artistic drive right now.
Plus, we don't have. It's not like we have much to make a living off of, anyways. So it's not like we can go and keep expanding upon stuff that's gonna, maybe not. I don't know, alienate us a little bit from new people. Like we're already robots. Like it's fun.
Yeah.
We did that. That's why we didn't want to do Vice Quadrant for a long time. And we knew it was gonna be fun for us to do, and then we did it. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to explain to newcomers, like,
Yeah.
oh, a robot band. But this is also, and it talks about the robots, but it's also about these other characters. And
There will be. I mean, the comic is definitely a passion project, and we'll get to it. But there's so many stories to tell, just with the robots.
Okay, to go back to sushi for 1 second, I think I know what you're talking about. Is it tuna belly? Is that the fatty tuna
I
you're
think
talking
so.
about?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
because we've gotten like rave recommendations on that.
It's like
Toro.
melt in your mouth.
Yeah, it's called Toro. And yeah, they were like, it's like butter. It melts in your mouth, and I've been meaning to try it. So
Definitely.
Good to know.
Definitely. I love sushi.
Does that mean I get to have sushi today?
You gotta, it's on Netflix for free.
Let's go get
so
sushi.
Watch that
Yes.
documentary.
Question. What's the most annoying twin question David and Bunny get?
I don't say we get too many Quinn questions.
I don't know. We've gotten like, who's the evil one? Or
Oh, yeah.
something. I don't know.
The
Just
most-
the generic ones.
I mean,
None of it's true
The
other
most
than
annoying twin question I get is people always asking me and Camille are twins.
People just
even
assume.
I asked.
You
Well,
never said it, and
yeah.
they just assume.
Well, yeah, no, I think both of you.
But that was
did.
before I knew you.
When
When you just, on first glance.
I met David, like a few weeks after we had met.
I think I said you're not twins, are you?
Yeah,
So-
I think you like casually mentioned something about my twin or something, or maybe you did ask, but I was like,
don't really know.
we're not. But yeah, no, I mean we get it all the time.
But I didn't really. I didn't know your sister, so when I saw her, I was like, oh, you kind of look the same, but she looks younger, and I don't really.
Yeah, we don't.
And I thought, oh, you're fraternal, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really get annoyed with any because Dave and I just don't get that much.
Nah.
I don't think a lot of people remember that we're twins.
No.
They know that we're brother and sister, but the whole fact that we were identical twins,
The
is-
same
I
age
guess
growing up, you know.
Yeah.
Camille and I kind of ruin it because so many people who are fans of the band actually do think we're twins, and they're like, "That's so cool! There's 2 sets of twins in this band." I'm like,
No.
"Sorry to let you down. We're not that cool."
Yeah, there's a big age difference between you guys.
3
anyways.
years.
3 years.
Not too big.
That's actually
Ours
not
is
too big.
only.
If you think we're twins, I guess it's a big difference. But
Yeah, because that's 3 years that one of you stayed inside.
Plus, I don't know. Even if we did get a bunch of twin things, I wouldn't really care
Yeah.
because I'm not bitter about having fans.
There's nothing. Yeah,
Like,
you're right. No.
You can crack all the twin jokes you want, guys.
that's pretty much it. There was one more, but I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer it.
What's that?
yeah.
Lore
Oh,
question.
just that one. I don't know if that's worth discussing on the
Oh,
podcast.
I mean, we have a new member named Zero.
yeah, it's basically. I didn't know if we wanted to
It's a very vague
get into
question.
it. It's a very vague question, but Jay Manic Bannock asks, "Can you give a quick explanation of Zero? I'm not caught up with him."
I mean,
So in real life, one of our members wanted to not do Steam Powered Giraffe anymore, and was like, "Okay, let's pick a day, and I'll leave after you guys have a replacement, and I'll help with the replacement." And we're like, "Okay." So we found a replacement after a few months, practiced with him. Sam finished up some shows, and we were like, "Okay, here's the date that we'll do the switch over." And that'll be it.
Pretty much it.
And then
Yeah.
lore-wise, we just have to have a new robot come in. So
It
that's
was
how it
like
works.
as easy and normal of a transition could be.
yeah, from a lore side, I mean, it's really up to Brian. What's he's going to bring to the character. We have like a backstory, but it's just kind of a building blocks.
Mm.
I wouldn't even try to define him right now because
Yeah, I mean, we set some stuff, and even talking with Brian, like, we didn't really know, but, he's only done 3 shows with us, including that free live
it's
stream we
not
did.
a lot.
And, that's, I think we have more than what Sam had when he started with us, but I guess the difference is we're Brian's already out in the limelight, where
Yeah.
Sam, we just had smaller events and stuff.
There's a lot of pressure on him initially, whereas Sam, it's like he had some time to grow in the shadows a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, our act had just changed a bit from the zoo when we did that, so no one had any expectations other than because that was the first year we did Yomicon and stuff was Sam's first year. So.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's coming in with a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah, and everywhere we go, people have already seen us perform with Sam. So
He's a trooper though, so he's doing great. And yeah, I mean,
and I guess that's a good thing to end on is we do have another
Yeah.
we have shows coming up.
we do. Yeah, April 1st, this Saturday. We'll be on YouTube. You can watch, and
A
it's
free one.
It's free, but we do recommend a donation of $5 if you can, or anything for that matter, just because it does cost. There is some cost to putting it on, and we want to keep doing them. And if it's profitable for us, then I mean
We'll keep doing it.
and we're definitely. This is just the starting point. We have so many more ideas what we can do for live internet shows. So, stick with us, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we also have some live shows coming up. There's one that was just recently announced at the. It's going to be at the.
Irwindale Ren Fair.
Yeah, up in Irwindale.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
So
And
for all
that-
you LA fans, we'll be in the area.
And that's May.
May 13th, Saturday.
Is it 15th, 13th?
13th.
And that's the weekend of RenCon weekend. It's they have like a The weekend before they have like a time traveler thing, so it's a little steampunky.
Yeah, we
kind of
thought we'd
stuff.
be playing
Okay.
that, but they put us on RenCon, which is basically like it's like a new day or a new weekend. It's cosplay weekend basically.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So it all totally makes sense. Like we'll be there. I mean, they're making their steampunk weekend make sense too, and it's a lot of fun. They really
Feel free to dress up.
it's gonna be excited. I think it'll be daylight when we perform, so that'll be interesting. But
It'll be different.
And you don't have to. If you have tickets to the Ren Fair for that day, you get into the show. There's no separate tickets for the concert, so if you come and spend a day at the Ren Fair and then see some robots at the end.
we have a few other shows coming up, but a lot in the works. But the next one that comes to mind is
the next big one is Anime Midwest, I'd say.
and then
July?
yeah,
they haven't announced any performance date or anything with that.
No,
just
no.
that we are.
But
Isn't
we,
it- it's like
we
July
do
4th
know that we're going
weekend
back.
ish.
Yeah, somewhere. Around
It's actually 8th through 10th this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think right after that we're doing our Comic-Con show.
we we're doing. No, we haven't announced that yet. Nope. Can't say anything about that yet. Nope.
Well,
Oh,
Fans have been-
I saw
We
something
said
on
definitely
Twitter about it.
been asking me, or they've been telling me that I can't wait for your Comic-Con show.
I said we might have a Comic-Con. We're putting
Okay,
together
well-
a Comic-Con show, but we don't have any. We can't release. Don't have anything for a date yet. But we know it's the week of Comic-Con,
Yeah.
and it's usually that Thursday.
All right. Well.
But no, there any day now we'll be able to announce it officially.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess disregard that. I didn't know that
Just
we
in
hadn't
case,
secured it yet.
I mean, the worst thing that can happen is it falls through right at the last minute, and then don't have-
Nothing official has been announced yet, but
yeah.
all right, guys.
But for
Well,
all intents and purposes, we'll have a Comic-Con show.
thanks for joining us on this podcast. We talked a lot about nostalgia and video games.
We talked only about video games.
It's pretty much all video games.
I was sure to immediately jot down an idea for the title because it made me laugh.
Oh, what's that?
It's not a microphone; it's a pudding dispenser.
Yes. Good.
There
I'm
was
glad.
also the gold-plated horse with turrets
Yeah.
attached, but I like the pudding dispenser.
Okay, someone find me a pick.
Here.
Where's that pick?
Oh, I don't know.
You mean the one you were playing
Here,
with
let
for
me
most of the show?
plug this in.
I lost it.
Is it under your phone or the microphone? What about this microphone?
It's gone.
We can't end the show until we find that pick.
Might have to
There's
get up.
there's a whole pile over there. Man, I was like playing with it.
I guess I'll get up and
We can find it. Don't give up.
So, are we getting sushi tonight? Is that what's happening? I'm so hungry for sushi now.
you know, Amazon restaurants delivers.
Oh.
Do they just deliver from that
There is a
sushi place?
I
There's
don't
like
know. There's
one
a good, there's
sushi place in our area, but
Um,
I don't.
1, 2, 3. It was a podcast from Steam Powered Giraffe. It was a Bennettarium. We talked about video games, but we're done talking about VR at least on the Bennettarium. Meets the Bennettarium. Bennettarium. When we're tired.
I tried.
So tired.
All right.
I have more work to
In
do.
the future, we can
No.
rehearse something.
We'll see you
It's
guys
all
next podcast, probably sometime next week. We'll see.
Yeah.
We've been haven't changed the dates due to rehearsal, but
So the next one will be after our next live stream.
we have one pretty much every week. We've only missed 2 weeks in the podcast history so far. But the
Yeah.
one was because we were sick, and the other one was because
Too
we couldn't
much
fit
to
in a
do.
rehearsal, yeah.
Too much to do.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Hope to see you around.
Bye.